and welcome to a new vlog. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. Hi, I'm Andrea. I don't introduce myself as often as I probably should. Welcome back if you're one of my lovely returning friends. It's great to have you all here. It is Wednesday. It's gonna be a pretty easy Wednesday though. And I'm gonna do some writing today. I've put on my published author sweatshirt to get myself in the mood. I meant to do this kind of vlog on Monday and it just didn't work out. I didn't do anything on Monday. It was a holiday Monday, so I took full advantage and I didn't vlog and I didn't do anything, and it was a lovely day. Would have loved to have shared it with you, but I just wanted the day to myself. Yesterday was a campus day, so that was really busy, but I did get a lot of work done yesterday, and I worked a little bit longer than I needed to, and so I will be able to finish a little bit early today, and we will use that time to finally get back into my writing project. So I have two projects that I'm going to be working on, and we'll probably talk about writing goals, publishing goals as well later in the vlog. I'm working on Across the Pond 4, because that's going to be the next book to be published, and I'm starting to work on Independent Hearts 4. I can't believe we're up to the fourth book in both series. That's just wild to me, but very exciting. So Across the Pond 4 is the priority because that's the one that does need to be published next, but I would love to, in an ideal world, I would be able to publish Independent Hearts 4 by the end of this year, by October. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I want to work on it as if that is what's going to happen. And then if I have to push it to January or February, I can. So that will be second priority, but I do still want to be doing a little bit of work on that most days. So I have not started that one at all. So that's going to be fun. So I am kind of in a lucky position where, even though it's taken me a while, half of January, to get back into writing, it's just been because I've been doing other things and not because I've been nervous or apprehensive or scared to get back into writing. I'm not procrastinating on it. It really hasn't been the priority. I took the first week of January kind of off. I just continue to take it off of everything. And then last week, the second full week of January, was the first week of the semester, so I was just swept up in all of that. And then this week, it's only Wednesday, I just didn't feel like doing anything on Monday, so that's fine. But like, both projects are in a good spot to just pick back up on. So Across the Pond 4, the first draft is done. I'm now at the very beginning of editing, and then Independent Hearts 4, haven't started at all. I think I created a Scrivener file. They're both in really good kind of starting places to just jump right in. So I'm looking forward to doing it. I was not in the right headspace for it on Monday, and then didn't have time for it yesterday. So we're doing it today. Before that though, I do have teaching work I have to do. So I'm gonna make some coffee. So yes, I need to get the coffee going and then get settled at my desk and just get as much teaching work done as I can. And then we will stop later this afternoon and switch over to writing. And then I want to go for a hike today as well. Although it is very cloudy. We'll see if that lasts. It probably won't still be cloudy this evening. It's very cloudy right now. And if anyone's wondering, yes, my hair is exceptionally curly compared to what it usually looks like today. I did heatless curls, and this is what they do. It's very curly. This will probably settle and drop a little bit more throughout the day. But yeah, I'm trying to get into heatless curls again, just because otherwise I will use too much heat styling on my hair, and I really don't want to do that. I like curly hair. Straight-haired girls love curly hair. Curly-haired girls usually want straight hair. We always want what we don't have, right? So yeah, I just thought I'd try out some heatless curls last night, and yeah, I got what I asked for. This is not what other girls look like when they do the heatless curls though. So I just have very fine hair. It doesn't do the big bouncy waves, it does curls when I do something like this. But anyway, that's enough about me and my hair. My kettle is starting to get louder. I'm gonna get my coffee made and get settled down at the desk, and we'll spend the next several hours doing as much teaching work as possible, and then we'll get to the fun stuff. The stuff you've clicked on this vlog to watch. Okay, it is now later in the day. I have Scrivener open for the first time in I don't know how long. Can I see that in outliner mode? When was the last time I worked on this project? Modified date. A lot of these are looking like June and July. Some of these I haven't touched since November of 2022. Don't know how that happened. I guess I just didn't, I must have just read through it. I don't know. So yeah, it's been a minute since I've worked on this project. I was just looking back through my notes. It looked like I knew I had started the Scrivener read through, but it looks like I'd only gotten through, oh, maybe I got farther than I thought. I have comments on chapters 1 and 2 and then chapter 7. I'm basically starting my Scrivener read through again. So recap, reminder, it's been so long. What even is this project if you're new here since the last time I touched it, which was probably about half a year ago at this point. Across the Pond 4 is book 4 in my Across the Pond series. It kind of picks up where book 3 leaves off, but it's different main characters. So books 1 through 3 are focused on Eleanor and her life in London and her relationship and all of that stuff. And book 4 forward, going forward, book 4, book 5, book 6, and so on, is going to be all of Eleanor's friends. And I do have some ideas for another story with Eleanor, but that wouldn't be until book 7 at the earliest. I want to do 3 of her friends first, and I have ideas for them, and I want to tell their stories before I come back to Eleanor. We need to let Eleanor have a bit of her happily ever after that she gets at the end of book 3 before we start throwing more drama her way. So we're giving Eleanor a break. So I've already announced this ages ago on Instagram. Book 4 is going to be Celeste and Jonathan. So Jonathan is Eleanor's cousin. You meet him fairly early in book 1, and then throughout book 1 he kind of develops a crush on this girl named Celeste. By the end of book 1 they're kind of together, and then they're dating in the background throughout books 2 and 3. So I'd finished the first draft of this in February or March of 2023. I think it might have been the very end of March. I knew I was trying to get it done before April because I wanted to start working on Independent Hearts 3 for Camp Nano in April of last year. Finished the first draft, and then throughout April and May, and looks like maybe even June, like I was trying, looks like I had these comments were left on June 12th. So it looks like in June I was trying to get back into editing this, but then the summer, the focus just became Independent Hearts 3, which then became The Candle Shop of Wicks and Whimsy, which became my 7th novel to be published. And so that just took over priority, and I was just trying to get that done so that it would get published sometime in 2023. This book kind of got put on the shelf and not forgotten about, just not pulled back off the shelf for the second half of 2023. So we're opening it up, we're dusting it off, we're getting back to this. I really want this to be published sometime in the summer of this year, and I will also be working on Independent Hearts 4, have that working kind of in the background behind this one as something to try to publish by the end of this year, or then sometime in the first half of next year. So I like having at least a couple projects going at once. I've worked on up to 4 projects at a time. My brain can't seem to handle that at this point in time. So right now we're going to focus on 2. So that means Project Darkness is going to be on hold for a little bit. Royal Romance 1 is going to stay on hold for a little bit, and then hopefully in the summer I can start dipping into those projects again, and we'll see. Those projects are there in the background as something where maybe during spring break this year, or the spring semester, or if I'm just need a break from these 2 projects or something, I think I will always have like 3 or 4 projects ongoing. I also have started Across the Pond 5, but that is definitely not the priority right now. As nice as it's been to have this break over winter break, part of me does wish I had continued doing some writing. Like, I've missed it. I have missed it. So as I said at the start of this vlog, I really haven't been procrastinating or avoiding these projects. I just really haven't had the time or the mental capacity to start prior to today. So I have I've done another Kindle reread, refreshed my brain with this story quickly by reading it through it on my Kindle, as if I was reading any other novel. So I'm remembering what the story is, ideas of like, you need to fix that, you need to fix that. There were so many typos. So many typos. Definitely needs a really solid line edit and copy edit, but there are some structural things and things that just need to be clarified and explained and strengthened. But overall, the Kindle reread really did reiterate and like reinforce in my mind that structurally, and this was the feedback from the alpha readers last year, and when I read through it last year, structurally it's in really good shape. So I don't think it's going to need that many developmental editing passes. It might just need 2, and then we can go straight into line editing. So Scriven a read through is what we're doing now. I'm going to start over from scratch, do that again. I've got a few comments on a few of the chapters, but I know I've got more to say on some of the others and just more things I want to be thinking about. So it is 2:44. I had wanted to get started on bookwork a little bit sooner because I do want to go hiking in a little bit, but I'm gonna work until at least 3:30, and then we'll switch. Well, talking to you, I always have to remember, takes a bit of time. Maybe 3:20, and then at 3:30 I'll talk to you from 3:20 to 3:30, and then at 3:30 we'll do 30 minutes of work on Independent Hearts 4. I'm excited. Rereading it the other night, I finished it last night. I finished the Kindle read through last night, or my second Kindle read through of it last night, and it just reminded me of how much I really do like this story and how excited I am for you all to read it. So I'm going to stop talking and start editing. So I've been seeing people do like their write my first words of 2024 with me. I'm not actively writing something, so let's edit my first words of 2024 and see how far we can get. have gotten through the first 2 chapters, added a few more notes. So there were some things that I found on this read through that I hadn't thought to note down when I started this before, so that's good. And yeah, I want to keep going, but I am running out of time today, and I wanted to start doing work on both projects today. I think going forward, on a day like today where I'm getting a later start or I have less time, if Across the Pond is the only book I have time to work on, that will be fine. But on today, as much as I want to keep working on this, I do really want to start Independent Hearts. So I'm going to get that opened up in Scrivener and get the theme switched over from my London theme to my Independent Hearts theme. But I don't have a candle yet for Independent Hearts 4, so I need to come up with a candle for that project. Probably need a trip to Home Goods or something just to take a look at the candle section. So I've got plenty of candles right now, so I might use something different just to get started. But a lot of the candles I have are more wintry scents, and I want something very spring, summer, very summery, honestly. So Independent Hearts, where are we at with that? So sometime, let me see if I can see in Scrivener mode. I haven't, no, I just haven't added it. Date created, date modified. Okay, so the last time I did any work on this, and this was probably the last day I did any work, book work at all of 2023, was December 2nd. I have created the Scrivener file, and I created a Scrivener theme and all of that. I have created chapter files for the whole book. So I've got a prologue, chapters 1 through 20, and an epilogue are all in the binder. I moved over all of my research and notes. I basically got the whole binder set up. Now I'm really curious, what was I doing in, what was that day of Vlogmas? Because if it was December 2nd, I would have logged it. Writing plans for December was day 4 of Vlogmas, and then I don't think I did any writing for the rest of the month. So if you want to see me set up my Scrivener binder, it looks like that's Vlogmas day 4. I also looks like I jotted down some general notes. So what do I want to do? I'm going to keep working in the outline section, because it looks like I've written down like space to write, the inciting incident, the pinch point 1, midpoint, pinch point 2, climax, resolution. So I think I want to take some time and just brainstorm some ideas for those key incidents, and then I might spend the next few days working in the outline section of my binder, and then I can switch to corkboard mode and index card mode and start plotting things in. Where Independent Hearts 4 is concerned, I know the character, I have a lot of ideas, I know what character is going to be the main focus. I know the kind of main romantic tropes I want to use, the main action of like the business related. So with Independent Hearts, the plot is usually a two-pronged plot conflict type thing. There's a romance plot and there's a business plot. So for those who are new, Independent Hearts is my small town romance series, and each book features an independent woman running an independent small business, see what I did there, in the fictional town of Olsenburg, Wisconsin. And so each book, there's her romance plot and just the romantic adventure of the story and her falling in love and all of the drama associated with that. But then there's also something going on with her indie business in the town. So somehow the business is threatened, or she's starting a new project for the business or something like that. And it's her navigating both the professional but also the personal obstacles that pop up along the way. So I kind of know what roughly those are going to be, but I'm still figuring out the main tent poles of the story that will hold the whole plot up. And then the next thing will be to start figuring out like what connects those big plot tent poles. So we are still very, very, very early stages where this is concerned. It's a fun space to be because every idea is valid and is worth investigating. I look forward to all of them, but like there's always a point as I'm working on each book where I'm nearly done with that book and I'm starting to get ideas for the next book. And so I then start to get really excited to tell that next character's story. So I know as I was finishing up, it's always how I know I'm ready to kind of move on from one book to the next book, because I will start to get ideas and I'll start to get excited to like really be working on and developing those ideas. So I just want to take some time to jot down more ideas and maybe try to get another 500 words, try to get this section of Scrivener up to around 1,000. So it is 3:29, so it's just about 3:30. I'm gonna work on this for about 30 minutes. I'll be ready to get up and get changed and get out for a hike. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking. I've been missing writing and missing talking about writing. Can you tell? I just want to talk about these projects nonstop. But I also need to not spend these vlogs just talking about the projects. I need to actually work on the projects. So I'm going to get working on this and then we will chat more about books in about 30 minutes before we go for a hike. Okay, I think I'm done for the day. I got up to 1,364 words in this section. So I don't know exactly how many words that was. We were at like 512 or something. Some of it was just I started going off on like a tangent and just giving more details, but I do have some more general plot ideas written down. My inciting incident is a little bit more developed. My romantic inciting incident is a little bit more developed. I've got some ideas for some connecting scenes between the inciting incident and the first plot point, pinch point, starting to think about the midpoint and the second pinch point, and I still have no clue about the climax or the resolution. Moving forward on this project, it's making me very excited. So I guess something else to talk about in today's vlog is just kind of my perspective on writing and publishing. I know near the end of last year, I don't think it was part of Vlogmas. I think it might have been sometime in November in the midst of NaNoWriMo. I think I did a video on like my slow publishing approach and just how I was wanting to approach self-publishing, kind of not just for 2024, but just like going forward in general, until maybe something else will change and I'll feel like I can spend more time on things and whatever. I definitely feel like when I first started self-publishing, I was like all in, just dove in head first, didn't really check the temperature of the water, just let's see how this goes. And I had a great time. And it was, you know, when I first started, it was 2019 when I started editing Across the Pond 1, and then that was published by December of 2019, and then the paperback of that came out in April of 2020. So by the time the paperback came out, the whole world had turned upside down. And I feel like part of my response to that first year of the pandemic, like spring 2020 to spring 2021, was I just threw myself into writing. It was something I could do even while isolating at home, and I could do it all online as far as like the actual publishing part. Part of me kind of burned out a little bit. Like I think I set the pace a little bit too hard and just could not sustain that long term. But part of it also has been, now that I'm realizing this is a long-term thing for me and I don't want to give up on indie publishing, like I want to just keep writing. I have so many stories in my head. I'm not giving up on this anytime soon. I need to figure out a slightly different, more sustainable approach to publishing, considering I do everything on my own. I write them, I edit them, I copy edit them, I proofread them, I format them, I do the covers, I do the marketing, I do everything for each book by myself. The only one I have had significant help on was More Than Fate, and that's because I co-authored that with Tamsin. My sister did the cover illustration for A Brave Start, and we had an illustrator help us with some of the background with like the starry sky and the custom font for More Than Fate, but I've done the actual cover design and layout for 6 of my 7 books. So like there's never a point where a book is off my plate and someone else is dealing with it for a while. I'm doing it all. Part of that's by choice because I'm a control freak. Part of it's just budget. I don't have the money to outsource all of these jobs because it's not like I'm saving myself $20 here or $50 there. We're talking hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars per book that I am saving by doing everything myself. It's not just because I'm a control freak who doesn't like to hand over any aspect of my book. It really is just the cheapest option for me, so that I can publish as many books as I am able to write and edit in a year. If I was waiting to be able to afford to outsource all of this stuff, I probably would only be up to book 2 by now, honestly, because it's a lot of money that you can spend. So that's just a choice that I've made. So I know I want to slow down just a little bit, which is why I'm thinking 1 book a year for sure, maybe 2, but no more than 2 for sure. Ideally, I would love if I could get to a point where even though each book takes me a full year to do, that they're staggered by about 6 months so that like every summer and every winter I have a book release. That would be what would make me really happy. So that's kind of what we're aiming for. I think June, and then I'm thinking hopefully June and hopefully October. We'll see if that works out. I'm never publishing a book in November again. Never say never, but I feel pretty confident in that. So if Independent Hearts 4 isn't done and ready for an October release, then I will just wait until January or February, and that will be fine. And then if 2025, it's January, February, and then Across the Pond 5 coming out in like August, September, October, then that could work too. So we'll see. We will see how things go, but I am definitely slowing down and wanting to enjoy the process more, and especially when I get to the last stages of like actually finishing up the cover design and getting the book completely assembled in vellum and uploading everything to KDP. It worked out this way with Candle Shop to a certain extent. I was a little bit stressed because I was so overdue from the timelines I had set, and it was November, and like this was why I didn't want to be doing it in November. But I was trying to be a lot calmer and more intentional and less stressy and anxious. There's just something about uploading everything to KDP that freaks me out and makes me like, what if there's a mistake that I didn't fix, or what if there's something I'm missing, or what if something doesn't go right with the cover file, or like, there's so many little things that can happen, and by that point I'm done, and I don't want to be problem solving and troubleshooting anymore. So it's just a little bit difficult. And so I'm just I'm hoping that by slowing down my approach and slowing down my goals and my timelines and just not being so like it has to be done by this time or whatever, that it can feel a bit calmer and more relaxed when it comes time to upload something. That upload day will be something that just doesn't faze me, because I feel like I still get phased just a little bit each time. It is getting better with each book, but then like Amazon will change something, and so it's always slightly different. So we're slowing things down. We're focusing on enjoying the writing and editing and publishing process, and just taking each book as it comes. I am going to be working primarily on Across the Pond, but I'm hoping to be making a little bit of progress on Independent Hearts throughout the next few months, so that when summer arrives and Across the Pond 4 is done and out, I'll be like more than 50% of the way through Independent Hearts, if that makes sense. Like, it would be really nice if by May I am at least halfway through writing it. So the outline will be done and I'll be at least to like 45,000 words. So that kind of means I want to try to have the outline done, I think, by probably the end of February. Yeah, because if I started writing this in March, even if I'm working really slow, I would definitely be able to do 20,000 words or so in March and 20,000 or so in April, whether I do Camp Nano or not. I'm still really on the fence about NaNoWriMo events this year, so stay tuned. We will do some sort of writing challenge in April. I just might not be officially logged in with NaNoWriMo, but I don't want to miss out on all the content. Like, everyone's going to be doing stuff for camp, so I'll be doing something in April. It just might not be Nano affiliated. So yeah, I think I can get to at least 40,000 words by the end of April, and then I could take the rest of May to just finish the second half of the book. We'll see. It could work. These are the ideas. This is the hope, the wish, and the dream for both of these books for this year. But I'm excited. I'm back to working and writing. I guess you could say we've written the first words of 2024, but we're writing in an outline, not words in an actual draft. Nothing that Scrivener is calculating or counting. I haven't even set a word goal or a deadline. I will probably wait until I start building things out in the actual manuscript portion. So right now I'm in the research file in the research portion of my binder. Once I start putting things into the index cards and working in corkboard mode and outliner mode, I'll start calculating words, and then we'll set deadlines and all of that. So stay tuned to a future vlog for that. But for now, I'm running out of time. 4:20 and the sun sets at 5:45. So I need to go get changed really, really fast. It's a little bit cloudy, a little bit sunny. So we'll go see what it looks like out at the park, but I'll probably just have time for like an hour, which is still a good amount. That's still a good amount of a hike. What trail are we going to hike today? I don't know. So I will decide while I'm getting changed, and then you guys can just continue watching to see which trail I decided. hike is done, and that was lovely. I feel like at the start of this hiking season, I had so many ambitions for going on really long hikes and going on steeper hikes and really pushing myself and just seeing what I could do. And I've just had, the weather took a while to cool down in the autumn. And so that held me back a bit in October and early November. And then December ended up being busier than I thought it was going to be. And there were a lot of days where I just didn't get out for my hike until later than planned. And then it was just too late to be able to do a 3.5, 4 mile hike. And then there were also some injuries mixed in. And so it just feels like this winter and this hiking season, it's been one thing after another that has stopped me from going on the longer, steeper, more challenging hikes. But I've still been able to come out and do like the 2 miles or less hikes. I've done a lot of 1 to 2 mile hikes, not as many 2.5+ mile hikes. And that's okay. And I find that now that like we are definitely well into the second half of hiking season, we're in that weird stage where it could end anytime. Basically, I could have a couple weeks, like right now, the 10-day forecast, all good for hiking weather, but I just never know. Every day I watch to see as another day pops on to the 10-day forecast to see what's going to happen. So like starting tomorrow, it's going to warm up into the low 70s for 3 days. Then it's going to cool down and go back into the 60s. But then the last time I checked, now it's 65 at the very end of the 10-day forecast. There was a 72-day popping back up. And so like it changes and you never know. Like for a while I was hoping those 70s that are coming would drop down to like 69, but now it's tomorrow, and tomorrow, Friday and Saturday are going to be a little bit warmer, and it's still saying 71, 72. So that's going to be an accurate temperature. But the end of the 10-day forecast, it can fluctuate. But like I still, every morning when I wake up, I check the weather to see like what is the 10-day forecast looking like now. And any day it could change to where we start seeing another string of 70s pop up. 70s aren't entirely common in January, which is why I'm a little irritated about the next few days, but 70s are common for February. February is usually a mix of 60s and 70s, and February is when the 70s usually start popping back up a little bit more frequently. And then by March, it's definitely 70s and starting to get some 80s. So yeah. So it last year I hiked until the middle of March. The way that this autumn and winter has gone, I'm fingers crossed hoping I can hike until my birthday at the end of February. But we'll see. Who knows? But it's been a lovely hike. I really do feel like so far throughout January, I've just had to accept that like this just seems to be what my hiking season is, more of the short hikes, and I'm just learning to embrace those. And so managed just under 2 miles today. Felt really good while I was doing it. The weather was gorgeous. The sunset has been beautiful. I'm facing the mountains. The sunset is behind me. You can't see it. Yeah, it's not gonna show you, but the clouds over the McDowells are turning a beautiful shade of pink. So it's just this pink with the blue. And I saw the moon earlier. I don't know where it is now. I think it's directly above me, but saw the moon on the hike. So that was nice. And yeah, it's just been beautiful, and a beautiful end to what's been a pretty nice day. So that's really nice. I really enjoyed writing. It feels so good to be back writing and working on my book projects. I probably won't get to work on them tomorrow, but I will try to get back to work on them on Friday. I don't know when I will vlog next, either Friday or Saturday most likely, but we will try to do some more writing in the next vlog. So the writing vlogs, the writing, editing, book project vlogs are back for 2024. I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna wrap this vlog up here. I'll show you what I do for the rest of the night, although that's getting hard because my Christmas tree is still up. And at this point, it might be up for another week or two. I really don't know if I'm going to have the energy to take it down this weekend. So do I want to vlog tonight? Can I crop out the tree? It's still going to be obvious that I'm doing that. So, or do I just accept that this is the reality? My tree is still up and just show you that my tree is still up. I don't know, but I'll try to show you some snippets from tonight, although I'm just going to be watching TV, to be honest. Nothing you haven't seen a million times. But yes, I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, all that good stuff. Say hi in the comments. Leave me some writing book related emojis in honor of the first writing vlog of 2024. And our question of the day can be, just let me know what writing projects, for all my writers who are following me, what writing projects are you working on? What publishing goals do you have for this year? Let's just chat book stuff. And if you are not a writer, just let me know what other project are you working on? Do you have some sort of creative project you're working on or other business project? But what is your kind of project of the year? I would like to know. So let's chat writing projects and projects in general in the comments down below. And I will see you all very soon in the next vlog. Thank you very much for watching this one. Bye.